Hello lads and ladies, and welcome to this, and welcome back for another video on the channel. This is your home of Sky Bet League One content. We produce live roundups, we produce top 10s, we produce ranking videos, we produce predictions. We've got everything you'd want to know about League One, but this is the big one. Our 1 to 24 League One predictions. We do it a couple of times a year, but this is the big one. At the start of the season, we have a look at our bottom 4 all the way up, into the top 12, the top 10, the playoffs, and those 2 that get automatic promotion, who wins the league. And today, we have finally got somewhere where I feel I'm happy to put it out. Last year, I don't think I did too bad. I had quite a few bang on. I had a few within a couple of places of each other. And my bottom 4 wasn't too far off as well. My playoffs weren't too far off. So I was happy. This year is tougher. There aren't as many good teams, but all the teams that were kind of average last year, I'd say, have improved massively. And League One's going to be more competitive this year because everyone seems to have improved. And you will see that in my table prediction. In 24th place, I've gone for Cambridge United. Now, they struggled last year. They've lost Sam Smith and they've lost Harvey Nibbs. 2 big players for them. Look, they've improved the team in areas where I feel, they're better there. Danny Andrews coming, Gaston Habmi's coming. I don't think he's a replacement for Sam Smith. I don't. Signs like Jordan Cousins and Sully Kai are always good signings as well. Stevens obviously as a goalkeeper. I like that signing as well. Mark Bonner's a decent enough manager, but for me, other teams have improved better. I think they're slightly weaker than they are last year. Some areas, like I say, stronger, but for me, Cambridge United will fall victim and will go down next season. 23rd, I've gone for Northampton. They've worked so hard to get up into this division, and unfortunately for me, I just don't think they've brought in enough. They've got a settled squad. John Brady's done a very good job, but sometimes in League One, you need to really strengthen your side in order to stay up. I think, it's a smaller squad. I know they brought in Manny Month, who's been superb for Tranmere and Walsall. Patrick Burrow has come in as well from Barrow, who's been there for a number of years as well. Bowie's come back and he scored 5 goals last year on loan, so I like that. They've kept it to a smaller sample size. They've got a number of players on trial, I believe, at the moment as well, but at the moment, we can only judge what they brought in, and it is still, 10, 11 days before the season starts when recording this. I just don't think they've done quite enough. 22nd, Cheltenham Town, another side that they weren't quite as good last year, but I thought after they got some points on the board, I think they lost the first 3 or 4 games, didn't they, early on? Went to Fleetwood, got a point, then went to Exeter and won by 1-0. They've lost Alfie May, and that's 20 goals a season. And if you want to stay up, you need to be scoring 50 plus goals, in my opinion. I know you can be tight defensively and not score as many. Keener, I think, is a good replacement. He came in January and we saw what he could do, but now he's the main man, and how will he cope with that? Rob Street's come back in. I think that's a good signing. Luke Southwood in goals, a ball-playing goalkeeper, really is gifted. I'm so surprised that, not kind of a bigger club in League One were after him, really, but Cheltenham did well. I just think others are better than them in key areas as well, and losing, Alfie May could cause that little bit of a drop-off. Now in 21st, this was really tough. It was between 21st and 20th, very closely, actually. I've gone for Carlisle United. Yes, 2 of the 4 that came up last year have gone to go down. Carlisle's business has actually been quite good. When you look at it, Ben Barclay's come back in, Alf McCormack's come back in, and Finn Back's come back in. So they've signed players that were successful on loan last year. They have lost Morgan Feeney, which is a big blow for them. I know Owen Moxon is maybe on his way. I know there's been, bids from fellow League One football clubs. We will come to that later on in the video. And they have signed Sam Lavelle, which is a good replacement in my eyes. Dan Butterworth's come in, experience with Port Vale and Fleetwood at this level as well. And again, they've added it in a couple of other areas as well. Again, what they did last year was a fairy tale, and to go through the playoffs, beating Bradford and Stockport, they did well. I just think they might just not have enough. 20th now, I've gone for Exeter City. Now, for me, a good start last year kind of give them the emphasis to stay up in this division. Gary Caldwell did okay. I don't think he pulled up many trees. I think they were very patchy. I thought towards the end of the season when he played the better side, you could see kind of that drop off, but they were safe. A couple of good results, early in the season kept them up. Jack Aitkinson's come in. Obviously, he did they did well for Barnsley in patches as well. They have lost, obviously, Giovanni Brown, but they lost him 5 months ago, 6 months ago. Caprice is gone, Key's gone. So they have lost a few key players as well. But again, strengthened as well. But Exeter City will just have enough to stay up, but I think there'll be one hell of a drop-off. Now, I know I'm going to get a few pelters for this, and I really like this football club. Port Vale, they signed very well, but is Andy Crosby I'm not sure on. And for me, getting rid of Darryl Clark, if you were Darryl Clark, I don't think Port Vale will be where they are, if I'm honest with you. They've got a tough start. I understand you've got to play everybody twice, but they signed well. Connor Ripley's come in, which is a very good signing. Connor Grant's an excellent signing as well. Lakaviti's come in as well. So that's just a couple. Jason Luckbauer's come in. The average age of the signing is around 26 as well. So they signed key players of good ages, young, old, experienced. And again, they finished 18th last year, 19th this year, similar season. They started very well last year. Up to January, they were about, top 12. A big drop-off. They were in the bottom 4 from January onwards last year. For me, Port Vale will stay up, but again, not pulling up any trees. 18th, Stevenage. Steve Evans did very well last year. They finished in the top 3. They won promotion, and they signed very, very well. Your Harry Anderson, he's still a good age. He's 26. Louis Thompson, good age. Nathan Thompson, good signing, 32. Ben Thompson, still only 27, and he was really good at 22, at 23. For Portsmouth, he did okay for Gillingham in a struggling side, let's be honest with you about that as well. But again, I've just looked through the squad and I think they've improved. They've signed a lot of older players, your Alex McDonald's, Dan Butler's an experienced pro now. But Steve Evans knows he wants to bring in players that know this level as well. I think for Stevenage, obviously as a football club, they'll be gunning out the blocks to try and get to 50 points. And sometimes in League One, it doesn't work like that. You need to be able to kind of, a bit game management. We're going to get points here. We're going to get points here. And again, just set up and what will be, will be. 17th now, Shrewsbury Town. Since Shrewsbury entered League One, and they've been here a while, they're the second longest serving in the division behind Fleetwood Town. Shrewsbury have never ever failed to get to 50 plus points in a League One season, bar the season that got curtailed due to COVID-19, which they were on course for 55 points. They've signed some good players. Elliot Thorpe's come in. Parker's come in. Morgan Feeney is an excellent acquisition. They have lost Pennington. They have lost Luke Leahy, which for me, Luke Leahy and Pennington were two of the better players in Shrewsbury's team and probably in the underrated teams of the season as well. Matty Taylor's in there now as management. He's not really done too much in the game just yet, but everyone deserves a chance. Losing Cottrell, though, is a blow and experience. He was, a cult legend down there, did very, very well. I think Shrewsbury may have a drop-off, but they'll stay up. 16th now, and our final promoted club from last season is Leyton Orient. They have signed very well, especially recently as well. Ethan Galbraith, excellent signing. I watched Salford, 6 or 7 times last year, and he always impressed me. He scored 4 or 5, from midfield as well. He played a good number of games. Obviously you don't get to play for Man United, in their academy if you know slouch. Richie Wellens obviously, knows him from around that area as well. Joe Piggott's coming. He is still 29, still a good strike. It just didn't really, work out for him at Ipswich or Portsmouth, and he needs to put that behind him. But I think as a main man, I think he'll do all well as well. Sol Bryn's coming, which I think is a good signing as well. Richie Wellens I really like, and they deserve to be in this division for a reason. So again, last year's champions will finish the highest out of those clubs again this year. 15th now, Fleetwood Town. In the last few years, I predicted Fleetwood to finish, You know, 20th, they finished 20th, and I think I predicted us, you know, just a little bit higher last year, and I was quite a bit off on Fleetwood, and we finished 13th. I've gone for 15th this year. Fleetwood have brought in Danny Mayer, Adam Montgomery, who are good signings as well, Ryan Graydon as well as Alex Broom. They've not really lost anyone bar the loanees of Lewis Warrington and Carlos Mendes Gomez, who has gone to Bolton Wanderers. Fleetwood are stronger, in my opinion, than last year, but other teams are stronger than them. Scott Brown signed a new deal recently. Fleetwood Town's owner did, obviously, get a lengthy jail sentence, but I don't think that will affect Fleetwood Town this year. They've got a settled squad, a settled manager, and we've got enough goals in Jack Marriott and Jaden Stockley to survive in League One yet again. 14th, like Bristol Rovers, I think they do have enough in the pot to stay up in League One again, and quite comfortably. They finished 17th last year, Bristol Rovers, but signings of Giovanni Brown, George Friend have impressed me as well. I think, again, they always kind of sign well if you've got Joey Barton, experienced players, and you can kind of see that as well. James Wilson, again, is 34, and Luke Thomas, the signing of the lot for me, still only 24, 25. Very good for Barnsley at the start of the year. An injury caused him to miss out on the team, and Barnsley obviously were in the playoff final, losing out to Sheffield Wednesday in a cruel fashion. But for me, Bristol Rovers will do a bit better than last year. They're still a few short, but I think anywhere around here for Bristol Rovers will count as a good season. 13th now, I've gone for Wigan Athletic. Yes, I do think Wigan will stay up very comfortably. And this is, you've got to remember, Wigan are -8 points. Now, to finish 12th, last year finished on around about 59 to 60 points. Wigan will probably have to go and get 68 points, which would be around about 8th or 9th in the table form as well. And that's what I think Wigan Athletic will achieve as well. They signed very well. I like Sean Clare, Matt Smith, and you know, he played for, you know, Doncaster Rovers at this level. I think obviously he's a very, very good player. He's played for a number of clubs at this level as well. Johnny Smith's an excellent signing. We've seen it for Oldham and Burton as well. Callum McManaman's come in, and they've still got Callum Lang, who's a very, very good player. Jason Kerr's going to come back into the football club. Sean Maloney's an excellent young manager as well. Did a very good job in difficult circumstances last year. Wigan Athletic will be absolutely fine, and it wouldn't surprise me if Wigan were a lot higher than this, but for now, 13th in the league. A couple of signings short, but Wigan Athletic, they'll get there. 12th, Bolton Albion. Yes, they will make my top 12. And again, they're only 6 points off the top, kind of the top 10, top 12 last year as well. But they signed really, really well. Jake Caprice has come in. Jamel Blackman's come in. Bo from Exeter. Cole Stockton has come in the building. He was on fire towards the end of the last season. And if he can replicate that again, Burton are in, you know, for a treat. Jasper Moon's come in. I like that as well. And, you know, that's just a couple of the signs, and they've kept hold of the better players as well. Dina Mamria did a very good job last year and didn't get the mention he deserves because, you know what, the Burton, they're small, they're not a big, fashionable football club, so Burton get forgot about. No, not for me. Burton did a very good job last year, and I think they'll finish in the top 12 quite comfortably. 11th now, and I can kind of see a few eyes being rolled, and as I say this by my co-host Jake Tong, I've gone for Lincoln City. Signed well, not signed many, but all these players will go into the team. Tyler Walker, very, very good signing. Rico Hackett, very good signing. You know, Jensen in goal, good signing as well. Tyler Walker scored a lot of goals, 16, 17 in the first half of the season, you know, 3 or 4 seasons ago. They did very well, Lincoln, last year. They finished 11th there, just outside the top 10 on goal difference. Charlton pipped them to that. They were better against the better sides. They went to Plymouth and won, went to Ipswich and won. Got a draw against, you know, both those sides at home as well. They drew too many games, especially at home. If they can turn them into wins, they'll challenge for the top 6. But it's all what they do. Mark Kennedy did a good job last year. It's going to be interesting to see what they do next year. But Lincoln City will be my top 12. It gets tough now. 10th, I've gone for Barnsley. They've lost Duff. They've lost Mads Anderson. Now, I said this recently. If Duff was still in charge of that side and the squad was exactly the same, Barnsley would be in my top 6. You know, the manager, unknown. But for me, Max Waters has come back into the football club, scored 2 goals and an assist against MK Dons in a 4-4 draw last year. We know what he can do. Ben Killip's coming from Hartlepool. Again, Andy Dallas is signed recently as well. But for me, I think Barnsley is still short in a number of areas. I know Luca Cannell signed a new deal recently. They've still got Devante Cole, who impressed me last year, got into double figures for goals as well. They're still strong, but I don't think they're as strong as they were. And Barnsley, well, I don't think we'll get into the playoffs this year, but they'll finish in my top 10. 9th, Peterborough United. Peterborough are always there or thereabouts, aren't they? Look, they've lost Jack Taylor. For me, one of the best central midfielders in League One last year. I got abused for saying I think he is the best, and they all came from Ipswich fans. Well, he's just gone to Ipswich now, hasn't he? So, again, they've lost Norburn, which is a loss. They lost Norwich, who was only on loan. He's now at Portsmouth. They've lost Ward. Clark Harris is still at the football club. You'd expect him to score 15, 20, maybe even 25 goals again. They brought de Havilland in from Barnet. Is he a Jack Taylor replacement? Because he came from Barnet as well. They brought Critchlow in from Huddersfield. Never really made it there as well. Kizavo as well is coming from Rotherham. A lot of injury problems there, but again, a good player when fit. I think Peterborough, they always sign well. I think they're 3 or 4 short of a playoff charge, but I think they'll be there or thereabouts, and they'll finish 9th in my list. 8th now, we've gone for Wycombe. They brought in players to suit Matt Bloomfield's passing way of an approach to the game. They were kind of long and direct and physical under Gareth Ainsworth, but to change mid-season in February when you're pushing for a playoff spot, I didn't think was the brightest of ideas. But again, they brought in Kane Vincent-Young, which is a very good signing. I really like him as well. They've signed very, very well. Harry Boyes as well. We did okay at Lincoln in the second half of the season as well. Dale Taylor's come into the football club as well. Richard Keogh's experienced as well. So they've got a good blend there, Wycombe. I like them a lot. I do think Matt Bloomfield will do a good job now. And even if they don't finish in the top 10, top 12 next season, I think they're on a rebuilding process. To lose a manager that was at your football club for a number of years and did so well, he's a legend there, took them from League 2 to the Championship and nearly stayed up, is hard to replace. But Wycombe, I still think, will challenge for the playoffs, but finish 8th. 7th now, I've gone for Oxford United, and I think my mate Jack will be, he'd probably take 7th, but when you finish 7th just outside the playoffs, it hurts out a little bit more. Ask Derby County fans last year, it really does. You don't want to, no one wants to, it's like, it's probably bar relegation, it's the worst position to finish in the league, really, because what you've been going for all year, you're just missing out on. But they signed really well. Ruben Rodriguez is a star signing. Jordan Thornley, he's a smart signing. Mark Harris is a very good signing from Cardiff, super sub down there as well. He'll get regular minutes, I believe, as well. James Beadle is a nice signing as well. Josh McEachran, good player. Obviously, Liam Manning worked with him at MK Dons. I think Liam Manning now can start the process. Last year it was all about staying up. This year it's about pushing on, and I think Liam Manning can do that. He's improved in multiple different positions, if not all of them. A couple of players off, and they might get into the top 6. But for now, they're just missing out on my playoffs. So in 6th, and rocketing up my league table just recently, I've gone for Reading. Signings of Charlie Savage, who did very well for Forest Green Rovers. Last year was a standout performer in a number of games as well. Harvey Nibbs, Sam Smith and Lewis Wings. That is 4 signings, probably not enough, but 4 really good top signings at League One level. A number of clubs come down to this league, don't know the division, and they think, we're Sheffield Wednesday, we don't need to buy League One players. We're Ipswich, we don't need to buy League One players, But Reading have looked at the division and they've signed 2 strong players from a Cambridge side. Look, they were in a Cambridge side, so they're going to stand out. Pressure going to Reading. Obviously, Sam Smith's played for them before. He knows the expectation. Lewis Wing was excellent. Really was at Wycombe. And it surprised me he's not got another move. But again, long-term deal there. 4 good signings, a few players off. Obviously, there is a bit of carnage going on at Reading, but if they can settle that down under Ruben Sellers, I think they'll get into the top 6. 5th now, Blackpool. And I'm putting Blackpool 5th, and I still think they're 4 or 5, maybe even 6 players short. Again, the squad depth, it isn't quite there at the moment. They haven't lost too many players that I don't think the fans would care about, bar Jerry Yates. But you've got to remember, you've lost Jerry Yates for £2.5 million, but got Kyle Joseph back in return. He scored, what, 9-10 goals for Oxford last year. He did well for Wigan. He didn't really get a chance at Swansea. I think for someone like a Neil Critchley side, he suits them really well, where they're going to play into him. They're going to get balls in behind, other teams' defences for him, and he can run and work all day. Jerry Yates is a workhorse. I think it's a good replacement. They signed players like Richard O'Donnell as a backup to Dan Grimshaw. I think, Pennington's an excellent signing as well. Norburn's an excellent signing. These are two signings that know the division as well. So Blackpool have done well. Still 3 or 4 players off, but I do think Blackpool are in the playoffs. And Blackpool are playoff kings. When they get in them, they normally win them. 4th now, Charlton. Again, a lot of teams this year, they haven't signed many players. And the signs we're probably going to see from the season starting onwards will be loan players, if I'm honest with you, because, players won't get into other teams' teams and they'll be struggling to get a game. So they get loaned out down the pyramid from the Premier League, then the Championship as well. And the Premier League are a week behind this division as well. That's one thing to consider. But they signed Harry Easted as a goalkeeper. They signed Lloyd Jones at the back, Pashut Kamara in midfield, Alfie May in attack. They've strengthened 4 different positions and they look a different team. And that's also to go alongside the Miles Leyburn, who will constantly improve. I think he was excellent last year. Only shot 18 times, but scored 12 goals. That's something to look into. Raksaki obviously has gone. He was only on loan. But I think Dean Holden is building a really good team. And they finished, 10th last year after having a really bad season. That shows you the expectation at Charlton. So for me, I think they will finish 4th and get a home tie in the playoffs. 3rd now, and this could easily change. I've gone for Bolton Wanderers. Now, the main story is losing Connor Bradley and James Trafford. I don't think that is bad at all. You've lost 2 star loanees. Yeah, okay. James Trafford went to go and win the England under-21s. He saved a penalty in the last, minute of the game. That will only help them going forward because people will trust Ian Evatt, people will trust Bolton Wanderers. They replace them very, very well. Nathan Baxter in goal, Cogley at right back, Mendes Gomez has come in. He's still only 24. Excellent for Morecambe and Fleetwood. Never got a chance at Luton. Luton going up, they got him for probably a bit less than he would have if they were in the Championship because he probably would have got more game time. Dan Elundu has come back into the football club. He only scored once last year, but again, a bit like THPORT when he was for a period where he was on loan for 6 months. He only scored 1 goal, but then signed permanently from West Ham and was a star. Maybe that can happen again as well. Again, average age of 23, 24 of the players that are coming in as well. Really like what Bolton are doing. Ian Evatt is a gem. So for me, Bolton will be pushing this top 2. 2nd now, I've gone for Portsmouth. I know Tom Chappell, my good mate, 4-0 written all over it, will be buzzing with that, but pressure. And these players are going to just keep adding pressure. But your Portsmouth Football Club, what is pressure? You're used to it. If you're a Portsmouth fan, you should be expecting your team to be looking for the top 2 because you've got 20,000 fans pretty much week in, week out. You've got an excellent training facility, excellent ground, and you've got an excellent team now, good young management. And, Portsmouth Football Club shouldn't be in League One, but they are, and they're here for a reason. Signs of Anthony Scully, I really like. Regan Poole, excellent signs as well. Jack Sparks, Connor Shaughnessy, Ben Stevenson, and Will Norris, Sayedi, Kamara. These are players that are going to add to the squad. They've improved in all areas, goalkeeper, defence, midfield and attack. But they've got a bigger and better squad now with players coming off the bench of a high calibre where they didn't maybe, in the last 12, 24 and 36 months, in my eyes. First, Paul Warne's Derby County. Now, for me, he will win Derby County the League One title. I just think, getting 3 promotions out of this league, it's experience. He's brought players in he knows. Josh Vickers, Connor Washington. He's worked with them personally. He knows them. And then you're bringing in Callum Elder and Ward to play on your wing backs. You've got Bradley, you've got Wilson, you've got Cashin still at the football club. There's still maybe 1 or 2 short. You've still got Conor Horahan, Mendes line. I still think they need another goal scorer, but for me, Derby County on the right track and will win the League One title. There are my predictions. We've gone for Derby County and Portsmouth as my top 2. Do you agree with that? Bolton, Blackpool, both are in my playoffs. Charlton in my playoffs. Reading in my playoffs as well. We've got for Carlisle and Northampton to go back down again with Cheltenham and Cambridge. Other clubs having good seasons. Bolton in the top 12. Wigan potentially pushing for top 12. Bristol Rovers pushing on from last year. Fleetwood going down a little bit. Port Vale just about staying up. Exeter just about staying up. What do you think of my predictions? Let me know in the comment section below. Please like, please subscribe. It helps me out more than you all know. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, I will see you later. I think I might have to deactivate on my social medias, which will be down below after these predictions come in, because the comments are going to be brutal and I know who from. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, I will see you later. Up the Sky Bet League One.